Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys, how we doing today?
Doing good. My old baby bird. Old baby bird looked good last night, didn't he?
Baby bird.
You saw baby bird?
Luka Doncic.
Yeah, Luka.
Do you realize he's shooting 16% from three right now? He's 5 of 31, and you're crowing about him?
Imagine when he starts
Really?
shooting 35%, he gonna average 40.
Huh.
A 40-point triple-double.
After DeMarcus Cousins got thrown out of the game and there's no rim protection?
Hey.
Way to go, Shannon. You're hot.
Yeah.
My guy looked good, didn't he?
Huh,
Didn't look
and
good.
he has
He
been
looked fat
called
to
out
me.
plenty
There you go.
already, Shannon. He's maybe listening to the critics. Okay, all right, good stuff, guys. But we actually have to continue talking about the NFC East because they have given us so much drama all season, and the drama continues. After beating the Cowboys Sunday afternoon, the Giants just needed an Eagles win over Washington Sunday night to make the playoffs. However, we all know how that ended, with Philadelphia pulling Jalen Hurts in favor of backup Nate Sudfeld in the fourth quarter of a 3-point game that turned into a 6-point loss. Well, yesterday, New York head coach Joe Judge was asked about the Eagles' handling of the game, and guys, he did not hold back. Take a listen.
To me, you don't ever want to disrespect those players and their effort and disrespect the game. The sacrifices that they made to come into work every day and test before coming in, to sit in meetings spaced out, to wear masks, to have shields over those masks, to go through extensive protocols. There's a number of sacrifices that have been made by all the players and coaches in this league. There's a number of sacrifices that come along as well with the family members of the people connected to them. To disrespect the effort that everyone put forward to make this season a success for the National Football League, to disrespect the game by going out there and not competing for 60 minutes and doing everything you can to help those players win, we will never do that as long as I'm the head coach of the New York Giants.
Wow, Shannon, did you have any problem with him saying this?
I don't have a problem with what he said. Although he said it for selfish reasons, Skip, he's absolutely correct. I had a very simple saying, Skip, when I played the game of football, and I played 14 years, and a lot of people know my career. You never ask a man more than you're willing to give. You ask your players to go out there, Skip, and give it everything they possibly have. You told me on Sunday, Zeke quit on your football team because he said, I think Zeke said he hurt it, he felt, a little tinge in his quad, and he asked out. You said he quit. Well, Doug Peterson quit on his team. And I said yesterday, Skip, I don't know how he got up there in front of his team and said, you know what, guys, we gave it everything we could. No, you didn't. Because you're in position to win that game, Skip. You were only down 3 points. And the best chance for you to win, you took that out to say, well, I want to take a look at Nate Sudfeld. Now, supposedly, you're thinking about trading Carson Wentz for Nate Sudfeld or Jalen Hurts. Now, which guy do you think should have been receiving those reps in those situations? So I have no problem with Joe Judge said. Although he said it for selfish reasons. He said, look, you guys go out there and play, and if you play, you got, and that's my thing, Skip. I got no problem with that. He said at the beginning of the week, certain guys, you're not going to play, you're not going to play, you're not going to play. Everybody else is going to play, give us your best effort. Because Jalen Hurts is giving you too good of an effort, Skip, you take the man out to ensure you're going to lose the game. That's where I have the problem with. If you want to sit, I believe Fletcher Clark was injured to begin with because he went out the Cowboys game.
He did.
Some of the other guys, Skip, if you said, okay, at the beginning of the week, Alshon and D-Jack and Miles Sanders and yada, 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 you're not playing, okay. But if Jalen Hurts had gotten hurt, Skip, that would be a different story. I got no problem with that. Jalen Hurts was not hurt. And it's being reported that some guys had to be refrained on the sideline.
Yeah.
The problem that I have with what Dougie Peterson did is that he lied. Now, if he had told the truth, the NFL would have had a big problem. A big problem with that. So he had to say, well, I want to get Nate Sudfeld some reps. You want to get a 6th-round draft pick who's been on your roster for 4 years. If you thought he could play a lick, you wouldn't have drafted Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. You know what he is. He's a journeyman at best. So Joe Judge is absolutely right, Skip. You don't ask more than you're willing to give. And Doug Peterson did not give his players the best effort, the effort that he asked them to give every day in practice, every day in meeting, and in every game. So I have no problem, although he's a terrible messenger, Joe Judge is, he's absolutely right with what he said about Doug Peterson.
Okay. I have a whole lot to say about this, and my final takeaway is different than your conclusion. Okay. Obviously, Joe Judge said exactly what his players and his fans wanted him to say yesterday. The truth is, Joe Judge said exactly what I wanted him to say as a Cowboy fan. I think all the Dallas Cowboys and Cowboy Nation sat back and said, way to go, Joe Judge. Because everybody thought that the NFL was tainted Sunday night by the loss of credibility that was displayed by Doug Peterson in Philadelphia in a game that was teetering. It should have been 17-all going to the fourth quarter when he didn't even take a chip shot field goal on 4th and goal from the 4-yard line against what many people consider the best defensive front in football. You just take the 3 and it's 17-all going to the 4th, right?
This is from Dougie P, who played for a tie.
Okay.
So now all of a sudden, you got chutzpah and you want to go for it.
Okay, I got it. I also want to make one quick point about Joe Judge. There's a biblical passage, I think it's Matthew 7, if my memory serves, 7:1, about judge not lest you be judged.
Right.
Because there's going to come a point, if he's as good as I think he is, where he's going to be thrust into one of those late season positions where, should I play my guys or not? Because this other team is teetering on the edge of the playoffs. Should I eliminate them by playing my guys? And obviously there comes a time when it's better for your football team not to play people. And it's better not to play to win and play as hard as you can in the final regular season game.
You're right, but here's the thing, the problem, Skip. If you're going to do that, let's just say Pittsburgh says, okay, we're not playing Big Ben. Mason Rudolph, you're up. They get within a field goal and they bench Mason Rudolph.
Yep, I agree.
That's the problem.
Okay. Now, back to a guy that in the past you have occasionally liked.
Yes.
You've called him Dougie P.
Yes.
I want everybody to understand that Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl with his backup quarterback, Nick Foles, and proceeded to write a book whose title was Fearless. You want to talk about audacity? You want to talk about you-know-whats? That's it right there in a nutshell, that one word of fearless.
Yes.
You come out of nowhere with your backup quarterback. You hang 41 on Bill Belichick's defense and outscore Tom Brady 41-33 in a Super Bowl game. You're suddenly a made man, and you say, I'm going to write a book whose title is I Am Fearless, and it's just going to say fearless, right?
Right.
Okay, so he prides himself on being the smartest guy in the room. He wants everybody to think that he sees things nobody else can see, that he's got genius about him.
Right.
And I can't criticize what he's done in Philly. He went 7-9 that first year when Dak and Zeke took over the division as rookies in 2016. Next year, 13-3 Super Bowl, right? Next year, even with Nick Foles coming back around again, they made a little playoff run. They won in Chicago, and they had New Orleans on the ropes until Alshon let a ball go right through his hands for an interception, right? And then, obviously, then 2018, they came alive late. They weren't a very good team, but Carson Wentz played, I thought, very well with some of his practice squad players, starting with Greg Ward Jr., and they did make the playoffs. Then, as you know, Carson Wentz got hurt like immediately and ended up throwing one pass, 1 out of 3 in a playoff game against Seattle, and they lost a home playoff game that nobody thought they were going to win in the first place. But he did make the playoffs 3 straight years, so I'm going to give him some credit there. Okay, here's my final takeaway after watching this unfold last night and sleeping on it. I believe that after I read this quote from Doug Peterson in his media session yesterday, I think he was playing to win because he reversed field yesterday and he contradicted what he said after the game, moments after the game.
Was he lying then or was he lying now?
I think he was telling the truth yesterday. He said, we were struggling just a little bit to move the ball. He thinks a whole lot. And defensively, they kept us, the Eagles kept us in the game with a couple of takeaways late, which they did. They almost had 3 takeaways late. And my plan was to get Nate in the game. So he's talking about how capable. He says, here's a guy who's very capable of running our system and executing. Okay, let's look at Nate Sudfeld, shall we?
Please.
Who is he? He's 6 feet 6 inches tall. Who does that remind you of? Nick Foles, who sort of came out of nowhere. Now, he's a higher pick.
He was a second-round pick.
Was he a 3rd round or a 2nd round?
I think he was a second.
Okay. Nate Sudfeld was a 6th-round pick out of Indiana by way of Modesto, California. Hot high school recruit, very good high school player, because he's prototypical. He's 6'6",
Right.
235 pounds, right?
Right.
And he was recruited by UCLA in Arizona, went to Indiana. I don't know exactly why, but he had a pretty good run at Indiana, was 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions his last year, got drafted in the 6th round, a la Tom Brady.
Right.
He was the 187th overall pick. Brady, as he always says, is 199, right? Okay, so I believe that Dougie P., fearless, believes that Sudfeld is a player, because what was Dougie P. as a player? What was Doug Peterson as a player?
He was the backup.
He was undrafted out of Louisiana Monroe, out of the state of Washington originally. He started 17 NFL games, but it was the hard way because he bounced all around.
Right.
He must have been cut 8 or 9 different times by various teams, starting with Miami.
He was with the Packers for
He was the Packers for a long time. And then because Andy Reid took a liking to him as a player, Andy Reid in his first year in Philadelphia said, I want him in